episode of Floyd Street's Finest. Yay! What a big moment this is for all of us. Well, especially me. I'm super excited to be back in Louisville and to be back talking about Louisville basketball. I'm your host, Jeff Greer. If you know me, if you followed me while I worked at the Courier-Journal or The Athletic covering Louisville men's basketball and football, thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for coming back. And thanks for deciding to give me another chance to talk to you about your favorite team. If you're someone who just follows Louisville basketball out of interest, cool. Thanks for joining us. If you're someone who follows Louisville basketball, cool. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to this no-holds-barred canvas. I'm trying to think of the word. I'm not a good word person. Canvas for Louisville basketball. This is where we are going to have, hopefully, some insightful commentary, a chance to bring you some good interviews, and really just take 40 minutes out of your week, 30, 40 minutes out of your week to break down some things that I think are important. And, of course, we'll get to reader questions and all sorts of things, or listener questions, as we get going. The first episode features an interview I'm very excited about with Malik Williams, the senior captain, and a guy who I have covered since he was in high school as a prospect coming to Louisville under Rick Pitino. The guy has experienced a lot in his career, which makes this a really interesting way to start off Floyd Street's Finest. I know that he is super excited to be on and is going to be putting this little achievement of his, the first guest, into Kenny Klein's media guide for Louisville basketball, and maybe in his player bio online too. We'll see. Anyway, sorry, got off on a tangent. So excited to be back with you. If you don't know me, I mentioned I work at the Courier-Journal and The Athletic. So where was I last year? Who is this guy? Why is he talking to us? Well, my wife and I decided to do something a little different in October of last year. So a year ago now, we headed to Europe. And I wanted to try to challenge myself to write about something different, see the world a little bit in the process. I got a chance to write about professional basketball and soccer overseas. Learned a lot about journalism over there as well, and had the experience of a lifetime. Got home in March, planned to swap out our suitcases, head back to Europe starting in Greece, and we never left. So that's kind of where we are. But honestly, I could not be happier to be back in Louisville, and a place that has become sort of my adopted home. Married a girl from Louisville. I have been here now 7 years, and I've really enjoyed learning about this program, about the city, and hopefully having a unique perspective on all of those things via this podcast. Check us out on thefieldof68.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Greer. I'll be sharing the podcast there, but the number one way to get them and to make sure your friends see them, outside of you just telling them, which would be super cool, by the way, is to go subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and rate and review us. Now, you're going to also be able to watch this face, which I'm not sure you want to do that, but if you do want to do that, on YouTube, we'll post the video version of the podcast there, but aside from like three people, I think most of you, and the three people are my mom, my dad, and my wife, most of you probably don't want to see my face. So nevertheless, I'm so excited to be with you. This is an awesome chance to keep talking about Louisville basketball. I hope that you'll tune in and stick with me. I don't just have a great episode to start in terms of interview. We've got a bunch of people lined up that I am very excited about. And I also have Mike Rutherford at some point. So you guys can get excited about that one, and I will grin and bear it. Just kidding. I love Mike. Super excited to be with you again, as I keep saying, and I cannot wait to get this thing going. And what better way to start than a great conversation with the senior big man for Louisville basketball, Malik Williams. So here's that interview, and don't forget to tell your friends, subscribe, leave a review, leave a rating, and more than anything else, take care of yourselves. All right, we are joined now by Louisville big man Malik Williams. Malik, first and foremost, I don't know if you know this, you are the first official guest on the Floyd Street's Finest podcast. This is an amazing achievement for you. I'm sure you've got a lot of other things you're really excited about, but this has to be one that you put in your player bio there. So congratulations.
Appreciate it. Feels great. Thanks for having me.
So before we get started, I did just want to ask you real quick. There have been, I saw from the Courier-Journal last night that you are sitting out on from practice for a little bit. It sounds like it's just precautionary, but just give us an update on your health and where you are.
Yeah, I have been sitting out of practice, but mostly just precautionary. Just trying to make sure that the screw that I had inserted in my foot last year is fully healthy at the start of the season.
Okay. And it seems like you've been able to deal with it, obviously able to get through workouts this summer. So not too much of a concern, it sounds like.
No, not at all. And we're working to get it better. So we'll be ready when the time comes.
Okay. Well, the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is, as I told you before we came on here, is the off-season. This has been a remarkable off-season in so many different ways. It's been absolutely insane for everybody. But Louisville has really been the epicenter of some of the challenges facing our country, racial tension, policing, all those things. And you have been so impressive. I mean, I remember when you were a freshman coming in as a high school kid, I was like, yeah, he seems really smart. He's kind of a quiet kid. And here you are, you've grown to be the captain of the team, obviously, in more recent years, and you've really found your voice in this community. I thought something that was really interesting, in addition to leading the march on campus that you guys had, was also you offering yourself up kind of to be a sounding wall for people to reach out to you and say what was on their mind, what might have been bothering them. What was that particular experience like? And then more larger picture, what has this year taught you in those conversations you've had and all the things that you've been able to do?
Just to touch on the basis of the, just reaching out to people and giving them the opportunity to come talk to me, that was just something that I felt, and it turned out great. I had a lot of people who DM me just talking about a lot of different talks. Just don't want to put anything out there, but just a lot of different talks about different things, social issues and just life problems. So that was really good for me because it just gave me a chance to connect with some people, and I'm sure the way that some people look at me, talking to me, and having me respond to the DM meant more than I could ever imagine. And then just doing that with the team, I kind of led the way, but, that was a team thing. We sat down, we had meetings over and over about what we wanted to do, and we finally came up with the plan that we wanted to have a march in the name of Breonna Taylor. Just something around campus, just letting the community know that we were here with them. We feel for them, and we want to do anything that we can to help the situation because, this is our city. It's a lovely city, and the things that the city has been going through the past 8 months or so it's not the Louisville that I know. So I just want to return to Louisville that I know, loving community, and just being that voice. Since I have one, I want to be the voice.
I thought it was really cool that you guys had the voter registration drive thing that you did in the city. I know Cahill Fennell has been leading that with kind of a do positive thing each week. Can you just try to sum up, I guess, what kind of feedback you've gotten? I mean, it seems like people have really responded to you guys speaking up and trying to be that voice in the community.
I mean, you get feedback from both sides of the whatever you want to call it, but people just have mixed opinions about everything that's going on. So it's just you just got to be the voice and voice your opinion, how you feel, and be there for people who feel the same way that you feel. That's kind of what the voter registration was. It's not easy to get registered to vote. I actually did for the first time this year, and I actually filled out an absentee ballot, and I got my vote in. So just wanted to give other people the opportunity to vote and have their voice heard, because every vote counts.
It's really amazing to see how far, especially college sports. I know with the pros, and I know you're a big LeBron guy. You follow, obviously, all you guys follow pro basketball a lot, but it's amazing to me to see the college level join. The players feel confident to talk about this stuff. We saw it seemingly years ago. Now it feels like a century ago at Missouri when their football team was trying to speak up for what's right. And I think that was 5 years ago now. But to think back then they were such groundbreaking pioneers in trying to, at least in more modern college sports, to be speaking up, and now to see everyone, it's truly awesome. So kudos to you and your teammates for everything that you guys have done. Let's talk about basketball. I'm sure you're relieved to be able to finally be in practice. It's been such a strange year. I was actually just thinking yesterday, between you and Ryan McMahon, probably the strangest career arcs in terms of all of the stuff that has had nothing to do with you that you've had to experience in your 4 years. Has that hit you yet as you enter your senior year, that it's just been kind of this long, strange ride?
It has. It was probably one day that I really just sat down and just thought about it. It's been a whirlwind, but it's been great. For a guy like Ryan, I feel like some of the things he went through is even more difficult. Just not being able to return after, he busted his butt for 5 years, and to not be able to just finish it off and have that chance to go on that last run, I just feel a little bad, a little worse for Ryan. So I feel like my college career, the things that I've been through so far, is what has made me me. I think that when I came in as a freshman dealing with Rick Pitino, I feel like after he got fired, I think I had to take a jump and really learn who I was, find a level of maturity. And that's really what happened when Mack came in. It didn't come the first years, but after that first year, I really locked in. And my last 2 years of college, I feel like I became the leader, a voice, and just an overall better player. But all the things that I've been through, and not most of them are my fault. So I just try to look past it and be an everyday guy, come ready to play every day, and just forget about the past, focus on the future.
I always think it's so weird when you hit your senior year, whether it's high school, whether it's college. It just seems like everything has taken so long and has gone by so quickly at the same time. Like it's this obvious like encyclopedia of things that you've experienced, but it also feels like, man, where did those last few years go? Has there been any of those senior moments though, where you are kind of thinking like, okay, this is my last rodeo. I gotta do X, Y, and Z to make sure I'm fully embracing it?
There hasn't yet, to be honest. I'm just focused, ready for the season to get started. There hasn't been any worries. I'm not worried right now. I'm just ready to go out and play ball. Like, there's no worries with playing basketball. There's worries with other things in life, but basketball is not a worry. That's something that you do, something that you enjoy to do if you do it. So basketball it doesn't worry me. I'm ready to go.
Now, I got to ask you two other things that, of course, whenever I try to talk to you guys, whenever I interview you guys, I try to solicit some questions. We'll get to a few more like fan ones here in a second, but everybody wants to know, first and foremost, did you watch Chris Mack's UK game video, and did you have any thoughts on it?
I did watch the video at least 5 times. I did. It just had me excited, ready to go. I'm 0-3, so I needed that last run. So him making the video, whether it solidified it or not, I know they want to play us now, and I know we're ready for the challenge. So I'm ready to go. It
The
got
other
me fired up, really fired up.
He's good at that. That is definitely a mark of a Chris Mack coaching style. The other thing that people really wanted to know about, and it's been a while now, we're approaching almost a year, and this is my alma mater, so I it's a tough question for me to ask. Tell me about the Pittsburgh Headband. What happened with that? How has that stuck around in your life where people still talk to you about that?
It does get brought up from time to time, and it was just in the moment of the game. It was a tough game. Um, I was dealing with some family problems prior to the game, so emotions were just high already that entire game, and I ended up having a pretty good game. Like right at the end, I kind of hit some free throws to solidify our lead, so I was feeling good. And when the buzzer went off, one of the students I can't remember if it was the student section or just from the crowd, they kind of threw the headband out onto the floor and it like landed right in front of my feet. The initial thought was to pick it up and throw it back, but I just figured that wouldn't be a good idea, so I just put it on. And now it's kind of that. The pictures that ended up coming out of it were legendary. So it felt good, though. Just walking through their handshake lines with their headband on, it was that kind of moment for me.
Well, and I know for all of you guys, after when the games are over, you go back, obviously check your phones like the rest of us do after stuff. I can't imagine that your phone was awfully quiet after that game. I think you got plenty of
hilarious memes coming out of that one.
That's okay. Pitt used to be good. We were good like 10 years ago. It's hasn't been that way in a while. All right, so tell me about this team. I know you've had a chance to work out with them now for a couple of months. You've had a chance to see the freshmen, the new graduate transfers. What do you like about this team, and what do you think maybe are some areas you need to work on?
I really like this team, just how we bond. I feel like something that I've had all 4 years now, just got to bond with the guys. And, that's where it starts. You gotta like a guy and really have a guy's back to successfully play on a basketball team with him, I feel like. So that's the number one thing with us. I think what we're going to be really good at is, just our length. We got to get guys just exhausting their energy and being hard to the glass, because that's something I think we can be really good with. I think that we're kind of similar to my sophomore team, just with the idea of having 2 grad transfer guards come in to help assist with things. We were kind of a younger team that year, even although we had Ryan and guys like Dwayne and Steve. We still had that sophomore class who I feel like did a lot. So, and that's what we're expecting out of our sophomore class this year, because you go to the grad transfers and then skip over the junior class because there are no juniors. So you go straight to the sophomores, and they got to step up to the plate and take the challenge. I think our identity needs to be defense, and that's what we need to work on the most right now. Just learning the system. It's hard for new guys, even the grad transfers coming in after playing in a different system for 4 years. It's not easy to start crawling into a ball screen and Xing out and things of such. So it's just a learning process right now. I think we get the defensive end in our back pocket, and we'll have a great season.
Yeah, it really is such a trademark of a Chris Mack team that if you're going to be playing that sort of hybrid pack line thing, you need to have length, because you can fill those gaps, you can get deflections, you can make it harder for people to drive. So, yeah, that is definitely – I'm not surprised to hear you say that. Tell me about, for you, what did you work on this offseason? Obviously getting healthy would be one of them, but just what did you work on for your game? You've really become this I remember when you came in, one of the funnier things that you told me at the time, you were at the high school Kentucky Derby Festival All-Star thing, and I said, Malik, if you took 100 3-pointers right now, how many would you make? And I think you said, is someone guarding me? And I said, let's do both. You said, without anyone guarding me, I'd hit probably 75, and with someone guarding me, I'd hit 90. So you were real confident in your offensive game. that's been all well and good, but you really seem to have made a lot of strides defensively to the point where now you're kind of the stalwart defensive player on this team. So what have you worked on to kind of put a capstone on your college career and your game?
Um, this summer and throughout quarantine was really just getting healthy, dealing with the ankle injury that occurred at Florida State. So that was big for me this offseason. And then now since things have been back going at school, it's really been ball handling and getting that shot consistent. So I can't shoot 90%. But just working on things like that, ball handling and finishing around the basket. And throughout my college career, I feel like the biggest thing for me coming in as a freshman was gaining that strength. Once I gained that strength, I feel like nobody could mess with me as far as me playing defense on them while they're on offense. I just feel like the quickness that I have, the height and length, matched with me having a physical presence now. I just feel like nobody can do anything with me. So that was the biggest thing for me. And I feel like I've always played defense, AAU, middle school, high school. I feel like I've always been a defensive anchor to an extent. So that just kind of rolled over. I like to play defense.
How much do you think you've had to learn from the Mack system versus what you kind of grew up knowing and how you learned to play defense? Has it been that much of an adjustment for you over the years, or was it a relatively seamless one?
It was a huge adjustment my sophomore year. It was more so. I actually watched a high school game of mine the other day, and I had times where I was in the pack, I was jumping a few ball screens, so I kind of, without even knowing, I was already kind of acquainted to doing things like that. But when I came in with, we got Paget for that year, they had a completely different defensive system. So, it was just learning to really jump ball screens because guys at this level are so quick and crafty that one move and you get split or they run around you. So it was just locking in on things like that. And then that's really it. It wasn't that hard for me to learn the system because I feel like I'm a player who picks up things quick. So that was the best part for me, being ready mentally.
All right, so last couple things, and I'll get you out of here. One is something that I noticed, and you guys all have to fill out these questionnaires for Kenny for the media guide, and you talked a lot about your cleanliness, about having a clean room, how people will notice that you hate it when things are messy. So I'm curious, one, have you always been like that? And two, how do you think that mentality translates to your game, to basketball, and how you think about basketball?
I have always been like that, even way back when me and my brother had a share room, I would always at least try to keep my side neat. Sometimes I would just do the whole room. And I've also always been a guy where I like to rearrange the room. I don't like for it to look the same way for a really long time. So that's mostly where the cleaning comes. That's when I get the deep clean and when I rearrange. But it's funny you bring that up because over the past few weeks, my room had been a mess, I was just looking last night and I was like, I can't do it anymore. And, I just did a complete sweep, got everything together. The entire room is clean now. So I think it does translate, just having the organization of color coordinating my drawers and just keeping my room clean because, that takes can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it takes something to keep your room clean. It's not easy. Like it's something you got to put in daily routines and things like that. So I just think it translates because I think if you got a messy room, you just have a messy life. So that's how I like to look at it.
It's very smart. Every time I would sit down and actually write a story, actually after I became professional, but also as a college kid, I would always come up with a reason that I had to clean my room head to toe so that I could feel like I could actually work, like you got that. It's all straightened out. All right. So I got a couple rapid fire ones for you. How many times have you watched your dunk at Cameron Indoor against Duke?
At least 90.
At least 90. Okay. When was your first dunk? I always like asking guys that. Do you remember it?
My first dunk was on. It was in the 8th grade, so it was probably May of 2012 or 13.
Hmm.
Um, it's actually on YouTube. It's called 8th grader dunks on kid Malik Williams. If
Okay.
you want to look that up, I'm sure you can see it. It's not the best quality video, but it was actually me kind of dunking on somebody who was trying to take a charge. So that was my first in-game dunk.
Okay. Okay. I love all those stories. Like I remember Dang Adele told me he was in Australia, obviously, and he jumped up to do a layup, and he just kind of kept getting higher. And the next thing he knew, he like his arm was over the rim, and he could come down with it. And it's just funny how that moment sticks with you. So you even remember in detail. That's pretty good.
Yeah, his DA. His DA. He was very athletic.
Oh yeah, he was an underrated athlete. I think. I
He
think he
was.
was a really good
He
player.
is.
Yeah, he is. All right, so we got a couple questions here from Online Man. How has the mental makeup of the team changed from 2 years ago when you guys had all of those really tough losses? I think it were 20-13, 20-14, made the NCAA tournament, but you lost so many close games. How has that mental makeup changed over the last 2 years to be where you guys are now, do you think?
Um, not a lot of guys. Actually, none of the guys here were part of that team that was 2 years ago. But just for me, dealing with those heartbreakers and losing them is just it's motivation to know that it takes 40 minutes. You can't take any time off. You got to be ready to go from the jump to the clock hitting zero in the second half. Just being ready at all times because all it takes is it's a split second. And at the level that we play at, every night is going to be a battle. There's going to be loads and loads of talent. So you just got to come out ready to go. And I think that the mental makeup is just them understanding that. I'm sure that a lot of them watch most of those games. So it's just me voicing that as well. So I think we're
Uh,
good mentally.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and you're kind of the guy who can communicate all of that. You're the guy who's able to talk about it because the other guys aren't used to it. One question from Tashonda here: how far has Aiden come? And they also want to know about Gabe and what you can say about his game.
Um, Aiden has came a long way. Last year I think that he came in with a different mindset. Just I think that there was a lot of hype around his name. Just giving him the Irish Hawk name. It was just a lot of weight on his shoulders, and then coming in and having a battle against me and Steve every day made him into a much better player. And he just had that third row.
Mm-hmm.
Having to deal with me and Steve being ahead of him. I think he's came back this year and made tremendous strides, and he continues to work every day. And Gabe is, I'm not sure. I don't know much about the school Hargrave that he attended, but I think that it made him into a great young man. Just his routine with everything. He doesn't put his head down, get down on himself. He does whatever you ask him to do. He's a smart kid. He picks up on things quick. He's going to be a great college player.
Hargrave is crazy, man. I think it's like being in the military. I think they've got to
Yeah,
get up really
it is
early.
one of those type of schools.
Yeah. Okay, last two for you. One is from Charlie. In your 4 years at Louisville, who has been your least favorite teammate that you have to go against in practice day in and day out?
Stephen Enoch. Stephen Enoch for sure. That was an aggressive fella. He was very big and very strong. I would have to say he's the most challenging just because he caught me with an elbow one day and had me bleeding. So I would have to go with Steve. He's a force. Whenever he got going on the offensive end, you can't stop that hook shot that he has.
Yeah, that was his go-to. Seems to be doing well in Spain too, which is cool to
Yeah,
see.
for sure. I need to get in contact with him.
Yeah. Last one then is this one's from me. So I've noticed you go to a lot of NFL games. Are you a Bengals fan, or do you just go to Bengals games the most frequently?
I became a Bengals fan back in 2018 when guy I consider my best friend, Jesse Bates the third. He's the safety for them. He's been the safety for them the past 3 years. I just like to go down there and support him whenever I get the chance because I know he feels the same way about me playing here. So I just want to be there for him, support him, and go to as many games as I can, dealing with our schedule. I wish I could catch more, honestly, but the ones that I catch are always great. He's a great player and even a better guy. So I just want to be there for him.
Were you a Colts guy or a Bears guy before college and before starting to go to those Cincinnati games?
I was definitely an Indianapolis Colts guy
Okay.
back when they had Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Joseph Adai, Dwight Freeney. That team back, I think they went to the Super Bowl 2009. They lost to the Saints, which it
Hmm.
sucked because my brother is a huge Saints fan.
So
I
you
was
never heard the end of it.
a
Well, I grew up in New England. I'm a lifelong Patriots fan, so I have always had a special deep hatred for the Colts. So I respect it, though. I mean, how could you not respect those teams? They were unbelievable, especially on offense.
yeah.
So I'm not surprised to hear that. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. All the best to you with your ankle and your foot. Hope it gets better soon, and hope you guys have a great season. Thanks so much for joining me.
No problem. I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, thanks, Malik.